Well, that makes it official, folks. We are now underway here on the Paranormal Portal. And I don't know about you, but I'm excited to be here. I was just watching the Netflix presentation of the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight, which is not currently on yet, but there's other bouts that go on before that. But I love you guys so much that I still came in here and did this, even though I'm dying to watch Mike Tyson knock Jake Paul out. No offense to Jake Paul. It's Iron Mike. I want to see him do well in his last fight. That'd be really cool. I remember watching Mike back in the day and being blown away. And the one time I did a pay-per-view of Mike Tyson, I was just waiting for that, first round knockout or something. And the one time I did it was when he lost to Buster Douglas. I was like, no, it was his first loss. And that was the one I pay-per-viewed. So I was like, oh no, I was bummed. But anyway, I don't know what you think. Well, yeah, I mean, he did bite Evander Holyfield's ear. There was that. I'm not saying his career was illustrious, but you got to admit the guy was just a knockout artist. He was just a machine. And it'd be neat to see him get one more knockout because I think Jake Paul needs a little humility, personally. He's kind of cut his own path into the pro fighting, and I don't think he's earned his stripes, and so I hope he gets a little humbled. Anyway, maybe that's sadistic of me. I don't normally like violence per se, I really don't. But I do like boxing. And I like UFC as well. I like those kind of fighting because it's not out of malice or hate or anger. Usually it's just two people, and it can be females as well, that have trained really hard and they're just testing their mettle against each other, and they're willing to get in there and trade blows and see how they do. And I do respect that because, it is an art. All of that stuff is an art. And so it's pretty fantastic. But anyway, I'm not condoning violence by any measure, of course. But, can't we all just get along? Yeah, exactly. So this is the Friday show. Sheldon will be along in as quickly as he can be. He's currently not with us quite yet, but he'll join when he's able and pop in like he always does. Usually somewhere in the news. In the news, Sheldon pops up and lets us know he's here. So we'll be anticipating his arrival. But, yeah, we got a lot to get to tonight. Brent, you're correct. Sir Jake needs his melon nut. I know, he's so cocky. It's just like, man, I understand having attitude, but he's taking like pro wrestling attitude and bringing it into boxing when he's not earned his stripes. It's like you didn't work your way up there. You bought your way there. And he's fought a bunch of people that were not boxers. The one real boxer he fought, which was Tommy Fury, he lost. And that was good. I was encouraged by that. I would like to see Tommy Fury knock him out, and I don't have any dislike for Jake Paul or whatever. Do what you want, but yep. Anyway, it is what it is. But anyway, need some humble pie. Absolutely, Sarah. I agree. A little bit, just a little bit of humility. It's just kind of come in there and like, I'm going to be pro champion. I'm going to be professional boxer of the world. It's like, yeah, you got to work your way through that. And fight other contenders and things like that. So, and even if he was to beat Mike, I mean, Mike is older. He's older than me. And I know I'm not in any kind of fighting condition. So my hat's off to Mike, though. I've been watching a lot of his videos, and it's like, man, for 58 years old, that guy is coiled steel. I can't believe it. I'm like, wow. I would not want to be on the edge, the end of those hits. Because, I mean, one of them would just fold me up for a weekend or a week. I don't know. But, yeah, anyway. We'll see what happens. Not that I want to talk about fighting all night. But I'm just giving you a little background on what I was doing tonight as I was waiting to go live. I was catching what I could. Yeah, very fast. The guy is quick. And he moves. He's a machine. Goes in like a bulldog. He's just like bobbing and weaving, coming right at it. Just like, boom. I keep thinking about... fight philosophies and stuff. Cause I trained in martial arts and I did a little bit of tournament fighting and stuff. And I enjoyed it. Okay. I mean, I didn't do incredible, but I did good. And I had a good time with it, but it's a little different when you're in full contact. It's a whole different world. So at any rate, we're going to get to the news here in a moment or two and dive through some articles, and then we're going to get to another article, and then we're going to get to other stuff. And eventually we're going to get to the Crypted Corner and hopefully bring you guys all kinds of entertainment. So at any rate, thank you all for being here and joining me on the portal. As always, we do these live streams every Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and love for you to continue to show up. If you're brand new or if you're not subscribed, please get subscribed. Please hit the like if you're enjoying it. If not, hit the dislike. It's all metrics. And you're welcome to your opinion. I don't expect everybody's going to love the show. I just hope a lot of people do. So, Sinfully Wicked. I used to do shoot fighting and Kenpo with my girls. Never competed, though. Wow. Jeez. Don't piss Sinfully Wicked off. I'm just saying. All right. Yeah, that boy just ain't right. Yeah, that's true, Mickey. That is true. Well, hopefully he gets an education tonight. Hopefully. But anyway, the worst thing that could happen is he'd win and think he was just incredible. And it's like, man. So I'm hoping Mike schools him. Anyway, enough of that. That's to be determined later. Actually, probably during the course of the show, honestly. So I'm going to be sitting here. Don't tell me if you hear who wins or loses. Don't say a word. I don't want to know. I'm going to try to catch it on Netflix after the show and see just how that turned out. But anyway, I guess that's going to wrap up my intro for the show. I hope you guys are ready because we're going to dive into a bunch of paranormal fun and goodness and strangeness. So starting with the news, where I try to news you up. I try to educate you or tell you something you might not have known or talk about things that maybe you find interesting. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Paranormal Portal the news. That's the only news John's trust. You're right, Sarah. Absolutely right. I already know. I was looking at Sarah's her picture that she has, and I was like, what is that, a winter hat and some earmuffs? But then I realized it's the top of a woman's head wearing a hair bun with dark shades on. So that's awesome. I like that. Very cool. All right, folks, let's get into it and dive into another segment of the Paranormal Portal News. And remember, throughout the course of the show, we visit a lot of different sites, and I just hope you guys will support those sites, visit them on your own, bookmark all of these sites, because there's so much information on all of them, and they're doing an incredible job, and your traffic does equal revenue. It helps them out, and I hope you guys will support these sites. So please do that if you would, please, and give them your love. And if you leave any messages on their message boards, tell them the portal sent you, because then they'll know that I'm out here representing them as well. But the first site we're going to be visiting tonight is the site we visit every night that we talk about the news, which is every live stream. And that is a wonderful site known as unexplained-mysteries.com. Hairball. And we're going to get to that now. So the first one is coming. There's a few UFO articles to cover tonight, and the reason why, obviously, is with the UFO hearings that happened in Congress, which some interesting things were mentioned, although no evidence was really presented. But we're going to go through some of these articles that maybe reference some of this stuff. Whoops, I wanted to be here. This is unexplained-mysteries.com, brings us the UFO phenomena files, and this is classified video shows white orb emerging from the sea, hearing told. Oh, there's no video, actually. Oh, maybe there is. Maybe there is. Okay, let's check this out. This week's congressional hearing featured testimony concerning an alleged video of a UAP off the coast of Kuwait. While there's still a lot to digest from the hearing, one of the most extraordinary claims to come out during the proceedings was an alleged existence of a 12-minute-long color video showing a white orb emerging from the ocean around 20 miles off the coast of Kuwait. Filmed from a helicopter, this footage, which has not been released to the public as of yet, was reportedly discovered on a secure internal network used by the Department of Defense to transmit classified information. Oh, just left it laying there, I guess. The revelation comes courtesy of journalist Michael Schellenberger, who testified at the hearing. Halfway through the video, my source said, the orb is joined by another orb, and that briefly comes into the frame from the left before rapidly moving again out of the frame, he said. The existence of this video wasn't the only interesting thing to come out of the hearing either. At one point, co-chair Nancy Mace brought out a 12-page document concerning a secretive UAP crash retrieval program known as Immaculate Constellation. Delivered by Schellenberger, the report had been written by a whistleblower who claimed that the executive branch has been managing UAP issues without congressional knowledge, oversight, or authorization for some time, possibly even decades. Controversial former DOD official Lou Lewis, I know he's called Lewis, but in Hispanic, this name would be pronounced Luis Elizondos, also spoke at the hearing. The vehicles we're talking about are performing in excess of 1,200, 3,000 Gs, he said. We're talking about technologies that outperform anything in our military inventory, and they are clearly intelligently controlled, he added. What is this from? The Economic Times? Let's check out just a little bit of this and see if we can catch
I think that what the American
6 minutes.
people need to know is that the U.S. military and intelligence community are sitting on a huge amount of visual and other information, still photos, video photos, other sensor information, and they have for a very long time. And it's not those fuzzy photos and videos that we've been given. There's very clear
High res.
images, high resolution.
How many visuals, graphics, videos, photos?
I mean, I've been told hundreds, maybe thousands. I mean, I also wanted to say, because there was some conversation around concern around the revealing of these materials, revealing the source collections, but some of these are shot from helicopters.
Wow. Well, you can check out all of this video and the article itself, including any references they may include here, for yourself. I'll put the link in the chats. If you would be so inclined, then you can do that. And that's what we're doing. Okay, so it's in the chats if you guys want to check that out. The video is 6 minutes, 19 seconds long, so it's a lot to cover. We only covered 40 seconds just now, but just to give you an idea of what to look for in said video. But that's from the Economic Times YouTube channel. They got a lot of subscribers, 2.74 million. Woof. Boy, what I would do with some 2.74 million. Let me tell you what I would do with even 100,000. I'm telling you. That would be awesome. But anyway, we are here in our little corner of the news world here on the portal. So anyway, that's the first article. Hope you guys find that interesting. I certainly do. And, there's more footage of that UFO hearing in Congress that you can find on YouTube or on Rumble or wherever. I'm sure you can listen to it. Or even BitChute or whatever platform you listen to videos on. There you go. That's the first little foray into the news. The next up is from the world of bizarre. This is really stupidly strange. I don't know. I don't even know what they're referring to here, but just to see this, ever since Tide Pods, when people are like, hey, why don't you eat a Tide Pod? Well, you kind of got it coming. Whatever happens to you after that, if you put a Tide Pod in your mouth or something else in your mouth and you decide to chew on it and stuff, if you get sick or end up in the hospital or even worse, you kind of got it coming. I mean, nobody in their right mind thinks that'd be a great idea. I'll bet you that's not even a problem. No harm can come to you. If that's what you're thinking, or if you think it's just going to be good clickbait, then you've got other issues. And so I don't know what to think about that. Now, I don't think this is necessarily the same thing, but this is also kind of weird and maybe not good for you, especially on a spiritual level. But let's see what it says. I'm just reading a headline, drawing assumptions from a headline. So let's get into the article. This again comes from unexplained-mysteries.com. Weird viral trend sees people write cursed number on their own arm. First of all, what is a cursed number? I don't even know what that is. But anyway, let's check it out. Social media users have taken to penning the number on themselves to see what will happen. Boy, if that isn't an F around and find out right there. What do you call this generation now? Is this Gen Z or what? I think it's Gen Z. And this is definitely the F around and find out generation. It's just Tide Pods, writing cursed numbers, just planking in bad places and ended up falling to their death or whatever. I mean, there's just buckets of these stories dealing with this generation of people that are just like, I don't give any Fs. I'm just going for it. And it's absolutely tragic because they don't seem to have any kind of self-preservation clause involved. It's just like, I can get attention for this. I'm going to do it. So let's see what this says. Viral trends have seen a lot of impressionable young TikTok users participate in various ill-advised and, in some cases, even fatal stunts in recent years. And while this particular example is not inherently dangerous, there are some who believe that it can still have negative psychological effect. The idea for the trend originated a few years ago, but has recently made something of a comeback. Essentially, it involves writing the number And there's the number right there on your own wrist before going to bed. I don't know. That's kind of a silly one anyway. But according to urban legend, this is allegedly a cursed number, also known as the heaven or hell number. And writing it on your arm will transport you to a parallel world when you fall asleep. The effects of this reportedly range from encountering demons and monsters in your dreams to being permanently trapped in some sort of dream world. But how do we know that? Because if somebody got permanently trapped, they couldn't tell us they were permanently trapped, right? I don't know. I think that's a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Bunk. That's a lot of bunk. Of course, there's absolutely no reason to believe that any of this is true, but that hasn't stopped a surprising number of people from trying it nonetheless.
Idea.
Is that a good idea? The ghost box says idea. I got to tell you a ghost box story that happened just on Wednesday nights. Remind me so I don't forget. But it's been surprisingly relevant in a vague kind of way. Now, idea is maybe a random word, but this is a bad idea, I think, is where we're going with this. And the ghost box did say idea, so I don't know. That seems pretty relevant to me. But anyway, perhaps the most interesting thing about this trend is the significance of the number 690452, which doesn't seem to have any inherent meaning outside of the trend itself. Exactly who came up with this number and why remains unclear. Perhaps it was simply invented by a random social media user, and then it gained additional meaning as it was being shared around. The whole thing demonstrates just how easily strange and unfounded beliefs can proliferate online. And that's the scary part. It's like, hey, don't do this. Okay. I'm always like, okay, I won't. It's like, I won't be one of those guys like, ooh, I should try that. I should try it. See, I'm going to just Google this. What is the significance of the number? What was it? 690452. Oh, I did 6252. Let's see. Just referencing the TikTok. Just looking to see if anything else of interest. Again, TikTok. TikTok is the meaning 690452. Real or fake? I don't know. I'm not seeing anything. The cursed number, people say writing. Again, it's referencing the TikTok. And there's a no sleep Reddit based on the challenge of 690452, writing it on your wrist. But I don't see anything relevant. Yeah, I don't know. There's a meaning in Hindi. What does that mean? Let's look up the meaning in Hindi. No, I don't see anything there. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see anything jumping out. What is the numerological? Let me do numerology. Numerology. I'm just trying to look. Let me put a space in there too, because I see a lot of people have done it with a space. Let's see. I'm just still numerology 690 meaning 690 signifies care, responsibility, and community. Sounds good. 452 in numerology signifies weakness, indecision, confusion, and an inability to set boundaries. Okay, well, I don't know. I don't see anything jumping out that looks like it's anything at all, to be honest with you. Just sounds like a nonsense number somebody compiled and just decided they would create a trend, which is clearly getting traction. Maybe I should try to start a portal trend. Yeah, don't watch the Paranormal Portal before you go to sleep, because I've been getting all kinds of reports of shadow people appearing in people's rooms as they're laying in bed watching my show. Let's see if we'll start a trend. Somebody clip that. No, I'm just kidding. I don't care. I really don't care. But that is just, I mean, there's just this whole impressionable generation. It's like, oh, don't do that. Okay, I'm going to do that. It's like, why? Somebody said don't. Why? So, I don't know. I have no idea. Oh, hell no. Barbara, are you laying in bed right now watching my show? Don't worry, I'm just joking. That's not anything I've ever heard. So, according to Urban Dictionary, this particular sequence is a curse number or the heaven and hell number. Yeah, same thing we just read in the article. It's obviously been spawned by the TikTok trend, or maybe it was spawned by the Urban Dictionary and then TikTok picked it up. Whatever case. I don't know. I think that kind of stuff. Here's the thing with anything cursed is that the power of suggestion is profound. And if we are manifestors of our reality, if we're kind of feeling like something has power, then it does. It does. Yeah, but you are most likely the manifester of that power and its effect on you, not so much the will of someone else. You have to either acquiesce to a curse or defy it. You know, I mean, those are your choices. And I think that nobody has power over you without your permission. I really don't believe that. But permission can be granted many, many ways, one of which is just by being afraid, being fearful. That is a surrender. Another way is by belief or I don't know, a belief system where you believe something can happen to you, then it will because you believe it. So there is a lot to be said for believing in curses or not believing in curses. And I think it's probably best to just not believe in them and you know, at least rest on that laurel rather than thinking, oh, something's going to happen because somebody said they're going to happen. Brand, glad you don't do those live spirit boxes anymore. Oh, I was thinking of doing that tomorrow night, John. I'm just kidding. I'm just teasing, brother. I'm just teasing. No. I still get requests for it all the time, and it's not something I'm opposed to doing anymore, but I think I'll do it as a member show so that it's not something anybody has to deal with that would rather just not deal with that. And if those members that don't agree with it, they don't have to watch it. You know, that's perfectly fine. All right. So I agree 100%. If you believe it, it will manifest. Yeah, exactly. I have a copy of Japanese novel, The Ring, that the movies are based on. I don't really know what the curse originally was. I don't know. Is it supposedly based on an original curse? Is that the... But then again, with anything written or in movie form, it's based on a true story. That is a whole lot of artistic liberty that they can take with that and still say it's based on a true story. I mean, really. You had a visitor a half hour afterwards? Ooh. Well, yeah, you got to protect yourself. But you're right. I don't want to introduce things for people. Now, honestly, in all seriousness, I have gotten claims from people. Every time I watch your show, weird things happen in my house. I have got those. And I don't know if they're necessarily evil or dark or anything. It's just maybe by virtue of you thinking about this stuff with me, it kind of sends out a beacon of sorts. And if something's there looking to be acknowledged, you'll be like, yeah, I'm here. And it might start doing stuff just so you know they're there. I think part of what might be almost a madness, like a psychological condition for earthbound spirits of some kinds and some types, is that they're not acknowledged. They're not acknowledged. They see people coming and going, and they're ignored and not actively. It's just most people are not aware that they're there. Myself included. You know, I'm not saying I'm Mr. Spiritual Sensitive. And I think that's when they do things. Go, I'm here. You know, so that's my thoughts anyway. All right. Well, that's the curse number trend. Fair warning, it's probably nothing, but I still don't like challenging the universe, kind of is my phrase. Challenging the universe. Don't challenge the universe. Sometimes the universe answers. And even if it is nothing, just by virtue of you doing it, just to see, something might show up just because you're putting it out there. You're putting it out there. I'm just seeing. Okay, well, we'll show you something. And so I don't think it has anything to do with the number as much as intention. Again, manifesting or welcoming, perhaps. That might be a symbolic welcoming of something to come to visit you. So if you don't want things coming to visit you, don't put out the welcome mat. So just some thoughts. All right. Next article, folks, because we got more. There's always more. This one is coming from the extraterrestrial files. Remember, I said there was a few of them tonight. And I did have, maybe we'll close with this one. We'll see how we're doing with time. It's already 7:30. So yeah, I think we'll do this one and we'll see how long it is. If it's too long, we might not even do this one. I didn't even look at the length of these articles. Usually I screen them to see if they're not so darn long. I can't possibly read them. No, this one's fine. Oh, computer, catch up with me. There we go. My computer's still struggling. All right. This one is from unexplained-mysteries.com. Extraterrestrial files. New formula for life calculates odds of intelligent alien life. Well, thank God they got a formula. What does that mean? All right, let's read it and find out. Scientists have created a new model to calculate how likely it is for intelligent alien life to emerge in the universe. How? Considering we only have a robust knowledge of our own world, and even that's questionable, how are we making universal assessments? How can we even pretend to make universal assessments? Unless they're just talking about, like the idea of how many planets are in the Goldilocks zone and how many of those could potentially develop intelligent life. I mean, even then, it's a wild, stupid guess. But anyway, let's see what they said. The question of whether we're alone in the universe remains one of the biggest physiological conundrums of our time, or philosophical, rather. And while it seems almost inconceivable that our civilization is alone in the cosmos, the fact still remains that we have yet to see any evidence to the contrary. That's not true. I think many people have seen evidence to the contrary. Maybe not you, but many people have. The Fermi paradox, which highlights the contradiction between the likely existence of extraterrestrial civilizations and the fact that we have still never encountered any. Are you sure about that? Seems to suggest that either there are no aliens out there or they are so rare that it's unlikely we would ever come across them. See the congressional hearings earlier this week. It's like there's such a contradiction. Now, in a renewed bid to determine just how likely it actually is that intelligent alien civilizations could have arisen somewhere elsewhere in the universe, astrophysicists, of course, developed a new model based on the acceleration of the expansion of the universe and the number of stars formed. Again, it's just a numbers game. It's like, okay. The formula works by determining the amount of ordinary matter converted into stars over the entire history of the universe relative to the density of dark matter, which they haven't even mathematically they may have conceptually validated, but they don't have a lot of concrete data on. I mean, it's just, they only can produce very small amounts at any time using the collider. I don't know. I just don't know. Their model as it stands places this figure for our own universe at just 23%. The same model can be used to determine the likelihood of intelligent life in hypothetical alternative universes with different dark matter densities. The parameters that govern our universe, including the density of dark energy, could explain our own existence, said lead researcher Dr. Danielle Sorini of Durham University. It looks like it's a bunch of guess math. We're going to do a bunch of guess math and get funding. Surprisingly, though, we found that even a significantly higher dark energy density would still be compatible with life, suggesting we may not live in the most likely of universes. It's certainly interesting to contemplate that life could exist not only within our own universe, but also beyond it. It will be exciting to employ the model to explore the emergence of life across different universes and see whether some fundamental questions we ask ourselves about our own universe must be reinterpreted, said study co-author Professor Lucas Lumbrizer or something like that. So there you go, a bunch of guess math, and good luck with that. I don't know. It's like they're astrophysicists, but they're behaving like theoretical physicists. And maybe there's some of both in either field, but I don't know. Neither of those is the arbiter of the truth, as far as I'm concerned, because we just don't have enough information. There's so much we don't know. And so how are they attempting to make these assessments? It's like having 8 crayons and you're trying to calculate an infinite number of colors based on 8 crayons. And maybe that's not a good example, but or recreate the works of the Sistine Chapel with 8 crayons or 2 crayons or something. I don't know, just something ridiculous. So anyway, I don't know. How you doing, Sheldon?
Doing good. I totally agree with you.
Thank you. I like it when people agree.
They even call it the observable universe. There could be more. We just don't know.
Yeah. It's like that doesn't mean that's all that's there. That's just all that they've observed. Again, we can. We have tools and developing new tools to view more, but that doesn't make us any more of an expert on what's going on around us, or to be able to sit in a seat of arbiter of truth. So,
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's too harsh for me to say, but it seems arrogant.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
It doesn't. I mean, you're not. I mean, yes, you're going off of the information we have so far, but I didn't hear all of it, so I don't know if they tried making conclusions, but I don't think you should even be making any conclusions about that kind of information.
Well, according to their new formula, they've figured that there's a 23% chance that there's other intelligent life in our universe based on the amount of matter and dark matter in our universe. Like, how are they making that kind of a wild assessment? To even have a percentage. I mean, if they just said, 25%, 30%, just more rounded figure would sound more believable. But the fact that they drilled it to, well, it's a 23% chance that there's intelligent life. It's like, really? Yeah. I think.
Why even be making these percentages that would change in 100 years,
or even 5 years or 2 years?
That could change next year with a new discovery. Something like that. It's like, why?
Yeah. Eric Fry says, "What's up?"
What's up?
All right. Well, I got another article. Do you want to cover one more with me?
Yeah. Why not?
This one has to do with the congressional hearing that just happened a couple days ago, or a day or two ago. I don't remember exactly when, but it was dealing with UFOs, and there were many speakers there. But did you hear about that? Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Well, good, because there's so much to talk about. And not much, because I haven't watched any of it except for a clip here and there. So I haven't seen a lot of it. But this is the UFO Phenomenon Files of Unexplained-Mysteries.com. Watch live U.S. House Oversight Committee hearing on UFOs. And I'll put a link to this in the chats. You guys can check out this video for yourself. I'm not sure how long these hearings were, but I imagine it's several hours. So anyway, anything with government, nothing happens quickly, even their hearings. Sure. So let's read what it says. The hearing will focus on reports of unidentified anomalous phenomena and hear from multiple witnesses, which already happened. Officially entitled Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena Exposing the Truth, the event, which will examine government transparency. Let me read that again. The event, which will examine government transparency. That's such a contradiction.
Wow. That's
With regard to cases of UAPs that pose a potential threat to the U.S. national security, we'll also hear testimonies from several witnesses, including retired Navy Rear Admiral. I don't understand why they came up with that title, though. Right? I mean, that just does not sound flattering. What are you doing? I'm a Rear Admiral. Who are you? Okay.
There we go.
All
There's
right.
the butt joke. Now we can check that off the box.
Check that
Yep,
off the
there you
bingo.
go.
Anybody have that on their card? Yep. All right. Timothy Gallaudet, however the hell you pronounce that, who was previously spoken about out about USOs, unidentified submerged objects. And last year, he told News Nation correspondent Ross Colhart that there had been attempts by the U.S. military to cover up the phenomena and that there are non-human entities visiting the planet. Boy, it's like two such different perspectives in the same news cycle. We're being visited by non-human intelligence with technology we really don't understand and with intentions we don't understand either, he said at the time. It will certainly be interesting to see what, if anything, will be revealed during today's proceedings. You can watch it along live via the embedded video player above. I don't know if that's still working. Let's try. Copy video URL. Let's just have a peek. I'm going to paste that here and just have a look. See?
Yo, ladies, if you have a man in your life and
no,
you're
you
terrible at
didn't.
gift giving or waiting until the last
I got commercials. Okay, it looks like something's live there, so I'll put the link in here. If anybody wants to check it out. I don't know what that commercial was. Ladies. It's like, oh, no. I don't want to hear that one. All right, this is the link for that. Allegedly the hearing, and I'm sure it's a video on demand now, so you can check it out. But check it out. Barbara Mora's over on Rumble. Dog Digger's over there too. I want to call you Digger Dog all the time, but you got Dog Digger over there. So
Yep.
you got me all confused. I'm all verklempt. All right. And so I think that's going to conclude our news for today. And we'll get back to the rest of the show. What do you say, Sheldon?
Sounds good to me.
Or sounds good to me too. And so that's consensus. What does that say? That is like being a major ass in the Army. Your Rear Admiral? Yeah, probably. I was good. Oh, so while we were doing the news, Sheldon, before you got here, we did this story about this apparently cursed number that the new TikTok trend is that people are writing it on their wrist before they go to bed to see what happens. Some people have claimed to have encountered demons. Other people have claimed to have encountered being trapped in dream worlds or something like that. Whatever. It's this cursed number. And
Yes.
I researched it live on the show and just briefly and couldn't find anything relevant about the number sequence, which doesn't really matter. I think it's a bunch of bunk, but it's the power of suggestion. And while I'm reading that, that these kids are doing this, the ghost box says idea. I was like, wow, that's kind of relevant because it's a bad idea, and that was my point is like, don't do this stuff. Anybody, don't do it. Don't challenge the universe because something might be listening and decide to show up for you, regardless of the number you write on your wrist. If you're looking for a meeting with something might be looking to meet you. So don't do it. And then idea popped up on the ghost box. And I was like, ooh, that's surprisingly relevant. Now, I was going to say the other night, I was actually, it was on Wednesday night. I left the ghost box going. I forgot to turn it off. So it was just in here chewing away, doing its thing. And I forgot that it was running, but I was just in the next room, in the living room. Mm-hmm. And I was on the phone talking to somebody and I mentioned tobacco. And I was like, I don't even remember how it came up, but it just came up in the conversation. And I heard a voice in my room. I'm like, what the hell was that? I was like, oh, I probably left the ghost box on. What did it say? I came in here and I looked on the screen and it said Tabasco.
Oh.
Right?
Oh.
I mean, what are the odds? It's almost the identical word, and it's phonetically similar. So it's like, oh my God. It said,
I'm gonna bet that wasn't a coincidence.
I don't think so. I don't think that would work as a coincidence. I just don't think the numbers of variables are really, really astronomical. So it said Tabasco. Wow. There you go.
It's almost like someone's correcting you. Like, did you say Tabasco? You know, like that kind of thing.
Is that what you're talking about, Tabasco? I used to love it on my eggs.
The old man was visiting.
Yeah, exactly. I love Tabasco on my eggs. I don't know. Anyway, I thought that was interesting.
Wow.
I thought, wow, that's surprisingly relevant. I wonder if that's like listening to certain music while I'm sleeping. Could be. Could be. Could be programming your sleeps. It could have said pipe too. Yeah, it could have, but it said Tabasco. It didn't say pipe. It didn't say anything else, just Tabasco. And that was the only thing it said. It said one word right at the beginning of the show and then didn't say anything until like an hour later when I was on the phone. It was like, Tabasco. I'm like, what was that noise? And I was like, oh, I left the ghost box on, I'll bet. So I came and looked and it said Tabasco. And I had just talked about tobacco. I'm like, oh my God. So anyway, interesting stuff. Interesting stuff, folks. The ghosts maybe are listening and they're chiming in.
Oh,
So-
I think they're listening. Oh,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah. So anyway, that's going to wrap up the news. Hope you guys had a good time on it. Spirits sometimes hang around trying to get a taste of beer or, Tabasco on eggs or whatever they like during their life. Sure. No, it was on the ghost radar that you see on the screen right here. I'm moving my mouse over it. Just below me, the green box, that's the ghost radar. And it also has a word database that sometimes allegedly spirits can utilize their energy to spit out words. So that's what came out. I thought, wow, that's surprisingly relevant. In
cool.
2 times now. Yep. That's why I don't have that wired machine. The ghost box should have been more specific. Skol, Copenhagen. Well, it said Tabasco, not tobacco. I said tobacco on the phone as I was talking to somebody. And it was the ghost box. It's like it didn't hear me clearly, or it just did its best to say a word that was almost the same. So it said Tabasco. I was like, wow, that's bizarre. I wonder if ghosts like liver and onions. I have no idea.
What?
It's kind
What
of
are these statements coming from?
It's kind of random, but maybe. I like pie. I like pie.
Maybe, John, maybe. I don't know.
And the random award goes to John Temperin tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations, John. No, I'm just kidding. That's funny. That's just funny stuff. All right, Sheldon smacks the rubber band. That sound. Ooh, it hurts so bad.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
But feels so good.
I'm just playing around with this rubber band while I'm.
Yeah. Speaking of random, what's going on with the rubber band?
I don't know. I'm fine. I'll put it down. All right, continue.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for the news. Let's get back to the rest of the show. There you go. Sheldon, I worked at a place where he used rubber bands. Oh,
Oh,
okay.
I did too.
You did?
Yeah, at the Red Cross.
Oh, that's true.
And we got these like rubber band tourniquets. That we would use,
You
and
just
I
got one on
stole
the desk.
It's in my little drawer here. I have a lot of them. Because they would, I'd just be like, hey, can I take these? Like, yeah, sure. I'm like, okay, all right.
They make a good
So now I have a
garrote.
lot of rubber bands just in case.
Just in
And
case.
they've been rotting in here for years.
They get a little less bouncy after a while. They start falling apart. I've had a bunch of them that I had to peel off of my drawer and throw in the garbage because they quit being rubber bands and started being something else.
Oh, these Red Cross ones work well though. They've been. It's probably like 5 years.
Well, there you go. That there's prophylactic strong.
That's medical grade for you.
That's gotta be it. That's gotta be it. Okay. Well, welcome to the rest of the show, ladies and gentlemen. They're tourniquets for digits. Yeah, they are, Annie. I guess. Yep. Or for the big sores on top of people's shoulders.
Oh,
I was just waiting for you to catch up there. I'm glad you made it.
Now.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. Why don't you let that cut under your nose heal?
Oh God, yep, I remember that one.
That was I think that was from MASH originally.
Oh,
Yeah, the old TV show MASH.
when I'd give you a lip when I was young, I'd be like, why don't you let that cut under your nose heal?
Oh, yeah. There you go. Gotta love those. Gotta love those canned one-liners. They're pretty classic. All right. We got more, folks. We got more weirdness and paranormal. I guess I should put you on the screen. There you are. There you are. Sheldon's now a part of the show. Him and his rubber bandies. Low system resources.
That's right.
I think it would get better and better as the show goes on, as I close more of these links, but it just doesn't seem to matter much.
Nope.
My pewter's just a little tired out. All right, MASH and the cartoon Mush. I don't know that cartoon. Do you all know of any legit spirit box apps for your phone?
Isn't the one that you're using a mobile one too?
The one that's on the screen?
Or was it a program?
It may have been. I don't know. I'll tell you what. There's one that I think is pretty wild. I've had some pretty wild results with it, and it's called Spirit Talker. And that one is pretty creepy, pretty cool. But I was utilizing it on a live show once, and that thing, well, there was one time I was using it, and it just spit out nonsense. And all of this is recorded on the archives. So it's not me just embellishing anything. You can find it and watch it for yourself. But one of which was just spitting out nonsense, just digits, numbers, everything in a constant stream of sound, and it wouldn't stop. And it wouldn't stop.
Yeah.
It was very glitchy, and I thought, well, it was kind of new to me at that time. I'd never experienced it before, but I wasn't very experienced with it. Now, interestingly enough, it's never happened again since then. It did that a couple times to me as I was testing it out, and then it never happened again. So I don't know. Otherwise, one time, that thing would only spit out ancient Latin. And Rachel and Maggie can speak to this. I remember they were here. Maybe several of you others were here as well. But Rachel and Maggie were Googling this stuff for me because I was like, I have no idea what this thing is saying. And they were Googling it, and it really got kind of spooky. It was like, oh, that's a little concerning. Ancient Latin. It's like, where the hell is that coming from? Additionally, one time it was spitting out a bunch of stuff that was seemingly nonsensical until I got a phone call. It was when we had live calls available on the shows, and somebody called in and said, oh my God, I think you might be talking to my sister who just passed away. And I was like, what? And she started going through the list of the things that it was saying and why they were absolutely relevant to her. And while she was on the phone, it started saying more, including the nickname that her dad had given her, who was also passed away. And she's like, oh my God, that's my nickname. So this is Spirit Talker. There's another one called Necrometer. Is pretty good, but those are the two that I would say I've had pretty interesting results with, and there may be merit to them. I don't want to ever endorse phone apps too much because I think there's a lot of crap out there too. But that was absolutely true. Now, I was kind of blown away by the caller who called in. I can't remember who it was now, but she went into detail about why all these messages were absolutely accurate to her and what had been going on for her in her story and her sister's story. And it was incredible. Now, I was really blown away because I figured up to that point, I was always thinking, well, if you use an app, it's reading the environment around you, and that's it. But perhaps by virtue of doing these shows and connecting with you all, we've created a sort of spiritual circuit where somebody did come through and gave some pretty incredible messages to this person who it felt like it was really a powerful cathartic thing for her. And it was beautiful. And I was absolutely blown away. I'd never considered that possibility before. So it's also one of the reasons why I kind of got more hesitant about doing the live investigations, because if this phone app could be suddenly, providing answers to somebody out there listening, perhaps if something dark did show up here, as I was doing that, it may be able to connect with a lot of different places. So I don't know, maybe it's speculative by a large measure, but I just don't want to ever create bad things for any of you guys, just with my own curiosity. So I generally keep my investigation stuff very separate from the live shows now, just because I didn't really realize that it could have implications that would be far reaching like that. But it's changed my idea. Brent gives his viewers what they want. What the hell's a full beaver moon? I don't even know what the hell that means. What is it? I don't even know. I don't even want to know. I'm pretty sure I don't want to know.
Well, tonight's a full moon.
Yeah. Oh, is this the beaver moon? Is that what this is called? I just considered it was like my bare ass or something. I mean, it's not bald, but I don't know. Full moon. Come on.
Don't put images in my head.
I didn't mean to. That's what came in my head. I'm just sharing it. Of course, there's no time or space for spirit. They're not bound by the physical. Good point, D. Oceans. Thank you. I agree. And I guess I kind of always knew that, but I never realized that could include something like this, that this could create as if we're all sitting in the same room kind of experience. I don't know why. It just never occurred to me until that happened. I was like, oh, well, that's different. That changes things a bit. So I feel like I have much more of a responsibility to be extra careful. That's a nice type of moon, Brent. I've seen it once up close.
Wait, what?
Not mine. Not that I have a beaver moon that I know of, but
Stop,
anyway,
just please.
I just don't know what to do with that. I'm stuck here. Super.
Help me.
Help me, God. Yeah, you tuned in tonight, Sheldon. Good deal. Welcome to the show, buddy.
God, man. Oh, man. Do I wish I skipped tonight? I could be watching the Mike Tyson fight.
I know. I was watching up to that point until I had to go live, and I'm like, oh, I'm hoping I can catch it after the show. So I'm kind of really hoping Mike schools him. I really am.
Oh, please, round one. I don't care. You don't need to drag it out. Don't drag it out. Just do it.
Just put him on the mat and make him think about his life choices. Yeah, that'd be nice.
I hope it's not scripted. That's the thing I'm worried about, actually.
I don't think I don't know. I don't know. Because this is his legacy. This is kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
It's kind of a big deal. And if he throws a fight for some cash, then I guess he would lose a lot of credibility in a lot of people's minds. And I don't think he wants that to be his legacy. So I'm hoping that's not the case. But who knows? I mean, God, I'd probably do a lot of stupid for, several $1 million. I'm just saying. I may be able to be bought. I'm not sure, but I might be able to be.
It would take a lot of money, a lots.
But that's a lot of money that they're dealing with. So, I mean, it's tens of millions of dollars, right? So, yeah.
Yeah,
that's quite a purse. Anyway, I could do a whole bucket of stupid for that kind of cash. Just saying. All right. Anyone got a PSB ZT Pro or tried one out? No, I don't think I have. I'm not sure I know what a PSB is, ZT Pro. Not sure what I know what that means, Kel.
Is that a camera?
I don't think so. I'm thinking it's maybe maybe. I don't know. What is that, Kel? Maybe just help us understand what that means first.
Let me just look it up.
PSB-7T Pro. What are you finding? Good to meet you, though, Kel.
Spirit box.
A spirit box. That's kind of what I was thinking.
Professional spirit box.
A professional one. Huh. Wonder how that's different.
By Pro Measure.
Okay. No, I've never tried one, buddy. I'll tell you this. I'm not a real big fan of spirit boxes personally. Unless they're utilizing a noise gate to get rid of that sweep sound. Because, in my opinion, and I'm not an incredibly robust investigator, but I do investigate when I can. One of the things that I don't like about it is that it really takes you out of the auditory experience of what might be going on around you, because you got a lot of this.
Yeah.
That sound drives me absolutely batty, because I want to hear if things are changing around me, if something, like disembodied footsteps could be coming, or if there's a disembodied voice somewhere nearby or something that you may and probably would miss with that obnoxious noise.
So unbelievably loud, yeah.
It is. And you have to have it loud, because you got to really strain to hear the words. I would say the best way to utilize the spirit box to me would be the Estes method, where it's isolated to one person, isolated their senses, they're sitting there listening, and they're plugged into that. And I think that really does yield some incredible responses, because the person is completely tuned in to what they're hearing and not being distracted or anything. And I think that they can catch a lot of the nuances that people that are looking around all the time and talking amongst themselves would be missing. So maybe it's a really cool to utilize that way. I don't know what's so different about this Pro box versus the existing ones. I just don't know anything about it, but maybe it's fantastic. I do. A Staticom is a developing field with several wonderful people that I've interviewed on the podcast, and they were going to come on the YouTube show. I got to get a hold of them to get them on, but they really have caught some pretty incredible things by utilizing white noise, not sweeps, not anything, but it's a specially engineered white noise that's supposed to be pure white noise with no other interference possible in it. And they've hooked it up through different algorithms and auditory tools, and have gotten some incredible EVPs, which I think is pretty fantastic. So look up Staticom, Staticom, and I think it's staticom.com is their website, but wonderful people. I've interviewed them, and just phenomenal results that they've gotten, and I think they're really on the right track. So look up Staticom, Cal, if you're still listening. I'd appreciate that, because they really are cool. White noise generator like the original Tesla Spirit Radio. Yeah, exactly. And several of the people that are working with Staticom, Lourdes Gonzalez, and I can't remember the guy's name now. He's got a unusual last name. I'm terrible with names anyway. I'm always forgetting names, so forgive me.
Yeah.
But I remember Lourdes because I knew a Lourdes for years, so that name comes right back to me. But they're wonderful. Yeah, wonderful people. Hello, D Oceans. Good to see you. So anyway, check them out, because they're really doing some really cool things. Now, it's not a consumer grade product yet, but they may eventually work it into one. But for now, you can check into what they're doing, and it looks really exciting. So you can listen to the podcast episode I did with them as well. Yes, Staticom, just like that, Jason Finch. Wonderful people. And they're all friends of mine, believe it or not, but I can't for the life of me remember names ever, hardly ever.
Same, yep.
And make sure to welcome my co-host. What's his name?
Oh my God.
No, I'm just kidding, Sheldon. I remember your name.
Unbelievable.
Considering I named you, or at least I was part of that. But yeah, I don't know.
You're my first son. Oh man, what's your name?
Yeah, big branch. Big branch.
Big branch, yeah.
The big branch on my personal family tree. All right. So anyway, great talks though, guys. The Finchster is in the house. Are you turning into like Hulk Hogan version of chat, Jason Finch? Hulkamania's running wild, brother. Amen. Welcome, Jason. Good to see you. Uncaged Savage. Good to see you. Barbara Mora is here. Sheldon, you're here. And I'm just looking again. Kel is in here. We just met Kel. That's cool. Hope you stick around, Kel. John Temprin and Sinfully Wicked. The Oceans, of course, is here as Jason Finch again. John Stevenson. And so the Johns are all represented in here. Good to see you, both Johns. And there's a lot of people here. Can you do shout out, Sheldon? I'm trying to do it, but I'm going to have to scroll through a bucket of chat. in order to do that. If you want to shout out, just say something in the chat. 20-inch pythons, brother. 24-inch was the Hulk. His were 24-inch pythons.
All right, there comes the names. There we go. Getting more names in this list. Well, we're starting off with Aussie Tiger. Welcome, welcome. Barbara Mora. D. Oceans. Jason Finch. John Stevenson. You got both Johns. John's tempering. Grateful Owl. Karen Alberding. Kat Doherty. Who just popped in here?
Who
I
just
can't tell
snuck
who
in?
popped in here. I saw the name come up. Barbara Mora. There you are. Hi. Kat Doherty. Kel. Hello again. Rachel's here. Sinfully Wicked's here. Uncaged Savage. Wizard Moon. And Dad, you're here.
So far. Yeah, they were.
It's what we got so far. And to all the, what do they call them? The lurkers. Hello to you too.
Yeah, lurkers are always welcome. And hello to anybody over on Twitch. Good to see you guys if you're here. We just had a new subscriber pop in on Wednesday. And I'm looking at the Twitch page here. That was
Henry Dong, hello.
Madame Irma 1 popped in on Twitch the other day and started following us. So that was really cool.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, it is cool. Very cool. So, and then over on Rumble, we still got Barbara and Dog Digger over there. Don't know where Justin
Dog
is.
Digger. Hey.
Don't know where Justin is tonight, but we'll be making sure that he brings a permission slip for his absence. All right, we're going to get to another article here. This one is coming from our wonderful friend, Mr. Lon Strickler at Phantoms and Monsters. Oh, I didn't drag this one over to the cryptids because we're going to get to the cryptids right next. But first, we're going to dive into this. Ooh, this one's kind of cool. And I'm not putting it in the cryptids because I don't think this is necessarily a cryptid, but it does fall into the cryptid stuff, much like skinwalkers. And this may be a skinwalker. But this is Lon Strickler's site. I hope some of you guys tuned into Lon's live stream tonight. He was going to be talking about mimics, and Lon is an exceptional talent in this field. He's really been a pillar in the community for a long time and has really helped to push the needle forward for decades in the paranormal communities. So stop over to phantomsandmonsters.com and support him, and then check out his podcast, which is Phantoms and Monsters Radio, and that's also the name of his YouTube channel where he streams live. So check out Lon Strickler whenever you can. Give him your love because he deserves it. He's kind of one of the unsung heroes of the paranormal world. So, and give him your love.
Always busy, always doing work over there.
I know he's always publishing stuff every day, like 7 days a week. That man is posting articles.
Amazing,
yeah, I mean, he's really been dedicated, and he's been dedicated like that for years. So there's so much material over there. It's incredible. All right, here we go from phantomsandmonsters.com. Black-faced shape-shifting witch encountered multiple times. Oh, multiple times. That's pretty crazy. Obviously, it must not be incredibly evil, because if you encounter it multiple times, obviously it wasn't meaning to kill you. I don't think, but let's see what it says. I haven't read it. Native siblings encounter what they believe is a shape-shifting witch with a black painted face multiple times while driving home at night. I received the following account. Hello, sir. I believe I once witnessed a shape-shifting witch. My older brother, older sister, and I were going home for the weekend, and we were coming in from Phoenix, Arizona, and we had to leave pretty late. It usually takes us 5 hours to get home, which is in Low Mountain near Pinon, Arizona, or Pinon. We drove toward Keams County. I have to check because without my glasses, I can't see if there's a space between the R and the M or if it's just an M. Keams County Canyon Highway, and took a certain dirt road that would take us straight to Low Mountain. Well, before we reached the dirt road, we noticed a very old lady walking on the side of the highway with a cane at 2:00 in the morning. She had her scarf around her head, a long black jacket, and wearing a green dress. We didn't think anything of it, but thought it was weird that she was walking late at night on a highway. The reservation is really dark at night, and there's hardly anyone driving on the roads. And we eventually turned on the dirt road. I think we might have read this one already, but I don't know if this is a repost by Lon or not. But anyway, a mile away from the highway, we noticed the same old lady walking on the side of the dirt road with her cane. I freaked out. I started crying because we knew that it was the same lady 15 miles back. My brother stepped on the gas and started driving faster. We eventually got to a highway that took us to Chinle, Low Mountain or Pinon, and we passed the first bridge. We noticed that the old lady was sitting on the highway with her head down, waving the cane in the air. Before we could pass her, the car just shut down and wouldn't start. The old lady stood up, facing the opposite way from us, so we wouldn't see her face, and walked across to the other side of the road. She turned her head to face us, and her face was painted all black. She kept walking and eventually disappeared in the distance. My brother turned the ignition on and the car started. It scared the hell out of me, and I was crying so bad that I never wanted to drive through the road again. When we got home, we told my parents about it. My dad said there was an old couple that lived between the two highways that did bad medicine on people. He also said that her husband had passed away not too long ago and that she walks that road every now and then. Well, they had 2 kids, and one of them passed away at a very young age and with unknown cause of death, and the other one drinks and huffs. We ended up driving back the longer way, which was taking the highway to the junction road and going towards Ganado. It was very, very real and very scary. Yeah, that's creepy. I mean, if you're driving in a car and you're seeing an old lady with a cane several times along your journey, that's no longer normal.
Seems more spiritual.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Wonder if it's just an astral projection, or if it's really, is it possible that it could be physically her? Because they said shape-shifting witch, but from every account of what they shared, she didn't seem to change shape. She just seemed to change place. You know,
maybe they're thinking like Skinwalker type thing, where it just kind of ran to the, shifted into something and ran forward type of thing.
Yeah, they could be. It could be what they're considering. But
I don't even think shape-shifting would cause it to drive or like run faster than
a truck. Yeah,
probably.
Probably not. Probably not. But very, very strange, unusual story. And there you go. So I don't know what you guys think of that. But again, I think we might have covered that before. But at any rate, we covered it again, by God, because it was posted new. Interesting. I wonder what would have happened if they stopped to ask her if she wants a lift. You know, it's funny, Kel. I was thinking the same thing. It's like, well, what would happen? But then again, if their culture would say that this is probably an evil presence, then you probably don't want to invite it into anything that you're doing. Because is that a welcome then? And then are you encouraging dark things? But I get it. If I saw an old woman on the road in the night, I'd be like, do you need a lift? I mean, can I give you a ride? Yeah. I just, my spirit of compassion would be overwhelming to try to help. And
I would have to, but the problem is I would end up on a missing 411 list.
Well, thank you every time I pour milk on my cereal.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you seen me? Sheldon. I never shared this with you, Sheldon, but I got to share it with you now because I keep remembering after the fact.
Oh.
But
okay.
Maggie did something really cool when she sent the package.
Oh.
And she sent a couple of things, one of which is up here, and I showed it on the show before. But this is, let me go to the big screen so you can see. This is the black-eyed bean, and it says, "Let me in."
Lon's catching up.
Okay.
Oh, man, I'm way behind. There. Oh, yeah. Big screen now? Okay. Oh, cool.
Isn't that cool? Not only that, but it says, "Let me in." It's holding the sign. It's just adorable. I just think that's the greatest thing.
That's actually awesome.
She made one other great thing, though, that you have not seen yet. And I just remembered now, and by God, you're going to see it tonight.
Okay.
One moment.
Okay. That's a callback from
Now, years ago, and Maggie was apparently aware of this. I didn't know that she was, but she is. Years ago, Nessie Monster, who hasn't been in the chat as much. She used to be in the chat all the time, but she's from New Zealand, and she made this, which is a Brent Thomas action figure, which is pretty cool. He's up on the wall behind me here, but I brought him down to show you. Now, Maggie knew.
Oh my God!
She made a Don Longbeard as well, and Nessie also made a scale model of the studio, which is really, really cool. And
what?
Yeah, I mean, she did. I don't have any space for it, but it's just beautiful. But Maggie saw that, and she decided there needed to be a Sheldon Thomas doll.
Oh, no way.
Yes way. And the Sheldon Thomas doll is wearing this cool little jacket with a Paranormal Portal t-shirt.
Oh my God. That is too cool.
You have an action figure.
No one has ever done something that cool for me. Oh my God.
So my question is, do you want me to send it to you? Or
1,000%.
1,000%. Okay.
Oh my Lord.
So this is the Sheldon Thomas Paranormal Portal action figure from Maggie. Yeah, there's no pins. No pins came in this one. That was
Maggie, why aren't you here? What a thank you.
Well, you can thank her in Discord. I don't know what's come up tonight for her.
Yeah, I will. I will definitely.
Isn't that awesome, though? It's so sweet. It's so adorable. It's hard for me to part with it just because it's like, oh, because I have them up on the wall together.
Oh, never. No, you should actually. No, keep me there. Yeah, definitely keep me there.
Okay, but you're much shorter than me.
Yeah, that's weird. That is pretty weird, actually.
Well,
Yeah.
she doesn't know. She's only seen our pictures on the screen, so.
How tall does she think I am?
You're the size of a booger.
Oh my God. I'm not a midget.
Hey, Dad, let's go to the store.
Oh my God. I didn't even think about that aspect.
It's like when you were little and I would hold your hand and we would walk, you know.
Yeah, I mean, my goatee as a child, you're right.
Yeah, well, you know, actually that's maybe a little stretch, but you're about the size of a toddler. So.
Yeah, I suppose.
You can ride on I'll give you a piggyback ride. I sit and play with these all day when I'm not doing shows. Like, come on, Sheldon, let's go look for ghosts.
Oh my God.
It does look like a South Park figure. John Tempered said South Park figure. This is South Park
my
Sheldon.
God, you're so right.
Hey,
oh my God.
guys. Nah.
Saying I'm Cartman? What the?
That's
What
my
the
ghost
hell?
box. That's my ghost box.
I'm the nerdy Cartman.
You can only see
There
the
you
upper half.
go.
This is the whole Sheldon doll. Up close and personal. Even got glasses on.
That is great.
Isn't that awesome? And then
That
she even
is
made a
actually great.
Paranormal Portal t-shirt for it. So
I mean, okay. The insult aside, I'm so flattered.
it is so cool. Yeah. And you're wearing headphones like you're doing a show.
It's perfect. Yeah,
it is really cool. It's just so awesome. So thank you to both Nessie and Maggie. I appreciate that. And then, of course, we got...
Rachel says he needs to be holding a big branch.
No, I need to be holding the big branch, the switch. This is, of course, Grizzly Stitch, which was created and sent into us as well.
That is so
Sinfully
I saw
Wicked.
that. I saw at the beginning, like, oh, that's new. Oh.
This? You never saw this?
No, I
So we
must
did
not
the
have.
Discord contest for someone to name it. And Rachel won it. And
Oh.
came up with Grizzly Stitch.
Grizzly Stitch. I
Grizz?
like that name.
and then middle name Lee, and then Stitch, Stych. Yeah.
Gris Lee Stitch.
Yeah.
I like that.
So that's my action figure collection on the Paranormal Portal so far. Now, I did have a Don doll, but Don brought that home as soon as he got it. So I can't blame him. I couldn't blame him. So anyway, these action dolls are absolutely amazing, awesome, fantastic, and appreciated. Yeah, they are. That's really cool.
Just, make sure not to put any pins in it, just so you know.
Well, I'm just saying, don't piss me off, because I got the tool now. I got all kinds of sharp things around here, dude. Just saying.
Oh, God.
All right. Well, there you go. I just wanted to share that with you. Because you hadn't seen that before, and I keep forgetting to show you.
I can't believe it. That is so cool. I can't. I'm gonna thank her in Discord right now.
Yeah, please do.
I just can't believe it.
It's pretty lovely. I changed screens so we get a leg spike. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. All right, we have more stuff to cover here, but we're going to get to the cryptids now that we have an opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Cryptid Corner. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Cryptid Corner. We're going to dive into all the creatures and weirdness that we can pack into the rest of the show. Ooh, there's something going on. Spirits all around me, Sheldon, on the radar. Look at that. In front and behind me. Right here, right next to me. They're still there, too.
Oh, I was muted. That's why. Okay.
Yeah, they're still there. They're kind of hanging out. They are here. Well, welcome, spirits of people I don't know. Or maybe I do know you. But in any case, thanks for being here. They're still here. That's an awful long time.
Makes a thank you in Discord.
Aw, that's sweet. But those ghost radar dots are still here.
Whoa.
Now
Pocket.
And it said pocket.
What's in your pocket?
I have tons of stuff in my pocket, rocks and all kinds of things.
Oh.
I always carry stones with me. I like stones. No, there's no pockets on this guy. I was looking on the Sheldon doll. Yeah, there are no pockets that I can see. But
You were saying they're trying to possess the doll.
yeah, they're like, put me back up. Maybe that's why I got two dolls on the desk and there was two dots. So maybe those have become homes to something else. But
get out of my doll.
It's
you don't belong there.
They are pocket dolls. You're kind of right, Barbara. Barbara said pocket dolls.
When I die, that's going to be my Chucky doll.
Yeah, someone said the pocket-sized Sheldon doll. Yeah. Yep. You guys. All right. Let's get to the cryptids because we got to talk about creatures and cryptids because it wouldn't be a full show without it. I got to take a drink. There we go. Excuse me. All right, let's get to the rest of the show, and we're going to start the cryptid journey over on Sasquatch Chronicles, because Wes posted a new one over on the Sasquatch Chronicles blog on the 14th of November. It's a shorter one, but nonetheless, somebody had a run-in with something. It says, I had a run-in with something, so let's check it out. Are you ready, Sheldon?
Always.
Always. Well, here we go. Here's the article. I guess I can put it on.
Essential.
Essential. Essential. Something in my pocket is essential. Something in pocket is essential. Okay. Well, that's good. I'm going to need a cough drop here pretty quick. Jeez. Yeah, stones are great, D. I always collect stones wherever I go. I always pick up ones that speak to me. So, all right.
I have a lot of crystals too.
Yeah, I do too. There's crystals all over back here on the table in front of the monitor. Behind me showing the portal loop. It says, I had a run-in with something. November 14th. Special thanks to Wes for letting us use this. And please check out Wes's blog. It's incredible. Digger Dog says, Brent, an old lady walking down the road that isn't an old lady. You need to see J.C. Johnson's encounter in the Four Corners area. Oh. I've not seen that Digger Dog, but if you find me a link, I'll be happy to look into that and share it on the show. That would be great follow-up to what Lon's story was. And I'll be doing a show tomorrow. So if you can find J.C. Johnson's Four Corners experience with some old lady in the Four Corners area, I'd love to share that as well. Because that would be in the right area, the Four Corners and Arizona and New Mexico and, I don't know, Nevada and Utah or something like that. I don't know. I can't remember. I'm terribly ungifted in geography, so... hey Wes, had a run-in with something in the La Salle Mountains, just outside of Moab, Utah, in 2022. While I was hunting deer with my cousin, I never saw the creature, but had something come into our camp and scream at us in the middle of the night, and screamed for hours. Oh God, that would be horrifying.
Ooh.
What a mess that would be, huh, Sheldon?
Oh yeah.
This thing was screaming, something was circling our little tent, and I could hear it breathing. It was depressing, sad breathing. Also, the day before this occurrence, while wearing camouflage and sitting in the bush, glassing for deer, an 80-foot quaky tree, I don't know what a quaky tree is, Quaky tree, was pushed over towards us. Despite there not being any wind and it being a beautiful, calm day. Well, we just chalked it up to being a weird coincidence. I'm interested in finding out if you have had any other encounters in this area. Thank you for all you do, and I love your show. I didn't even register Bigfoot or even had it in my vocabulary, but this experience led me to your show, and now I'm looking for other possibilities. Thanks again. Wow. Somebody commented, it was probably your mother-in-law. Oh, brutal. That's a brutal one, Darren H.
Ouch.
Wow. Just hitting him. All right. And then Karen C. weighs in and said, my family had a similar experience in northeast Utah or near a Bear Lake area. We pulled over in an RV to spend the night at a pull-off just off the highway, and along with our friend and his dog. Around 1 p.m., a loud screaming noise came out of the woods and circled us while screaming the whole time and went back the way it came. The dog didn't even make a whimper. My friend didn't hear it either, but my sister and I were terrified. We didn't want to wake my dad, who drove all day from California, so I took his pistol in hand and was ready for the worst, but thank heaven, it just left us alone. It sounded like half man and half animal, but like it was on a rampage. I heard it quite a distance away, had my window open, and I was a light sleeper, and thought of a drunk or something, and then it was so powerful, non-human sounding with nothing around for miles. Well, that's a nightmare too. Jeez. Yikes. But there you have it. Good stories. Both of those. It's nice when the comments also share stories, so you can dive into more experiences just by people reading it. All right, we're going to move on to a gnomes or trolls experience. Blonde-haired gnomes/trolls emerged from portal near Cooperstown, New York. We're going back over to Phantoms and Monsters to check this out. This is an adorable picture, kind of. I guess it's obscured. It looks like a Sheldon doll. Hey, you guys.
Oh my God. The proportions are right, I suppose.
They kind of are. Look at that on screen, and then look at this guy.
What the hell?
It's a match. You nearly match. Other than the goatee, I'm just saying.
Why am I getting roasted? Why is this happening? That's my job to do to you, not the other way around.
But you're slacking. you're just leaving him wide open. So
oh my God.
It's not every day you get your own action figure. I'm just saying.
Oh my God.
All right. Two friends were hiking near Cooperstown, New York, when they observed two small humanoids emerge from a shimmering portal in a boulder. Oh, wow. Later, a strange incident occurred that may be related. Hello, sir. My name is Dee, and I'd like to confide in you an experience I had in 1990 while I lived near Cooperstown, New York. It was mid-spring, and a girlfriend and I decided to take a walk in the surrounding countryside. And while we were taking a rest near a large outcropping of rocks, there was a humming sound coming from one of the nooks. My girlfriend stood and stared, walking towards the noise. Though it was late afternoon and we were in heavy tree cover, there was enough light to see into the rocks. Well, as she got closer, she said that the sound was coming from inside of one of the large boulders. I began to walk toward her and the boulder to listen for myself. We stayed there for about 5 minutes when we noticed the boulder seemed to shimmer like water. And we quickly stepped back as the shimmer grew and changed to a greenish hue. And then suddenly 2 small beings emerged from the shimmering portal. The beings walked towards us as we tried to move away, but we were paralyzed and unable to talk. These beings were about 3 feet high and had green-hued clothes that looked like work overalls. And the faces and body features were human-like, though I'd have to say more like human children, but with some adult features. And they also had long blonde hair and very dark, large, round eyes. Their hands had 4 distinct fingers and were very rough textured. This incident occurred much earlier than the film, but these beings remind me of the hobbits from The Lord of the Rings. Sounds nuts, right? Well, they took each of us by the hand and started pulling us toward the rock. We both quickly regained our ability to move and broke away from their grasp. As we ran down the hill, we could hear them running behind us. A minute or so into the chase, I felt something hit me on the back and realized one of the beings had thrown a stone at me. I stopped and looked back, but they were gone, though I could hear voices from a distance that sounded like there were more of these beings, and the sounds were getting louder. We continued to run until we reached the car, got in, and just sped off. And we'd driven about a half a mile when a piece of tree branch came flying out of the woods and hit the side of the car. I looked up into the woods, but neither of us could see any signs of the beings. We were both shaking when we arrived home. We agreed not to tell anyone about the incident, though. I think she may have mentioned it to a friend years after we went separate ways, but there was talk about little people in the surrounding woods. I never had another encounter with these beings, but I feel that they knew where I lived. One morning, I found a small pile of stones on my patio picnic table and a small 4-fingered muddy handprint beside it. I recently moved out of the area, but I still have a feeling that they know where I am. Last week, I was leaving for work and walking to my car, and when I got into the car, I noticed a reddish-colored 4-fingered handprint on the windshield. Well, I took a closer look and realized that the handprint was made in blood. Well, that evening, while sitting in my office at home, I did hear voices outside. I looked out the office window and caught a quick glance of something darting into the bushes next door. I continued to watch, but didn't notice anything further. I have no idea what is happening, though. I do know that I'm not imagining any of this, and there is a possibility of little beings, example, hobbits or elves, living among us, or is there a possibility? I've never seen or read about any of this. It just seems so crazy. Any ideas? And somebody did weigh in on it. Wow, exciting stuff. I've seen tiny people in the woods here in Norway, 2 or 3 feet tall. They were dressed in somewhat ragged brownish clothes. And there was a bunch of them walking along in the brush. And Heather the first time I saw them. Oh, brush and Heather. Okay. I couldn't see their feet. Their faces looked kind of old, and they were mumbling. Well, after a few seconds, they sort of faded out, and I assume these creatures live in a parallel dimension with the ability to slip into ours and then back. Interesting. Wow. That's really cool. Huh.
Wow.
I know a lot
What
of
are they-
cultures.
Huh?
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna ask, like, these stories of the, I guess, gnomes or hobbit people or whatever, where do they usually come out of?
Well, elves and gnome stories and goblins, trolls. A lot of them actually are, in our understanding in Western culture, come from Europe and
Yeah.
the countries like Finland and Sweden and the like. Germanic examples of those are a lot. Even English and other cultures. It's like the interesting thing though is just those terms I think are from our ancient ancestors or whatever. But there are examples of these things in every culture around the world. In Iceland, the elves live in rocks, and they actually have a bureau that allegedly deals with the elves directly, and they'll actually, if they believe there's an elf homes in an area where they're building a road, they'll direct the road around that area, like they just really go out of their way to accommodate being kind and not trying to instigate any rage from these creatures. So
Wow.
I don't know. I mean, there's examples of diminutive creatures around the world, and the names change, but a lot of the descriptions are the same. So
Oh. Else in Scandinavia, Northern Europe, Norway has troll statues along the side of highways in certain spots.
oh, nice, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, Norway. I didn't mention that either, but I was thinking of Norway when I said like Finland and Sweden and such. But yeah, and in many other cultures over there in old Europe. But there's stories of these kind of beings in Africa and Asia, in old Russia, all around the world. Native American cultures, Central American, South American cultures. There are small diminutive creatures that are believed to exist in Australia, and the Aboriginals have examples of those. So I mean, it's global. This stuff is really global. The terms aren't, but if you look into the descriptions, I think we're all describing a lot of the same things. Just we've given it different names, and it's kind of the same thing for Bigfoot. Like, and I've shared this before, so excuse me if this is redundant, but before the term Bigfoot or Sasquatch really gained foothold, there was all these regional examples of these strange creatures, and there was like, the Grassman, Momo, and all of these different creatures, Yeren, the Yowie, the Bigfoot, the Sasquatch, or any number of names that knew of these beings, but they only knew of them in their area. And as news of these things spread with the terms that unified them, it was always like, oh, we got those here, but we call them boogers, or we got those here, but we call them grassmen.
Right.
like in Ohio, the Ohio grassman. It's because they find these huge nests of grass that are just piled up and dug out like they're almost like huts. And there's several examples of these different things, but when you look at the physical descriptions of them, they're largely synonymous. So it took a unifying term to create the global awareness of, look, this isn't just our thing in our region, it's all over the place. And the same is true, of course, for gnomes, trolls, goblins, blah, 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 blah. The Homo floresiensis, the Ibugogo, all kinds of different names for various creatures, cryptids, around the world that may have, counterparts around the globe. So, and I threw out a whole bunch of various names, but I'm just trying to bring up regional examples of what sound like very localized things. Like the I don't know what they call. I mean, the term Hobbit is obviously from Tolkien, and is derived from that. Just looking at a name for diminutive humanoids, but the Homo floresiensis or whatever the pronunciation is, for the taxonomical name, but it doesn't mean that they only existed there. It's just that was where some of them were found and are still encountered.
So are these beings, like, as far as legends go, living in rocks and things like that? Are they supposed to be a type of fae or like a forest guardian, or what are they as far as the legends go? Like what would they be considered?
A lot of them are regarded to the realm of the fae, but some of which may be more elemental, like dwarfs. Dwarfs were considered to be, from rock and earth. Yeah. And would come from rocks and earth. And, so even though you're familiar with that from, several different lore examples, there is folklore and legend of these dwarf beings, which were very rugged, earthy beings that lived in the earth and were famous for mining. And there's things like Tommyknockers and all kinds of other things, so elementals, the fae, the other examples like dwarves, which may or may not be part of the fae. I don't know what falls into the realm of the fae and what doesn't, but there's certainly many examples, the gnomes and, other earth type beings or spirits. And then there's things like duendes, which are these small humanoid beings that are kind of, several different examples.
Is that the same thing?
Duende?
That's so familiar. Isn't that another name for dwarf or another?
Yeah, it's another dwarf-like being, a small dwarf-like humanoid. And I don't know if they're one and the same as the traditional dwarves of the Europes and other countries, but in any case, yeah. They may be living in the earth. They may live in a secondary dimension to ours, or just out of sync, a vibrational thing. I don't know. But anyway, it's all speculative. Sprites. Yeah, sprites I think would fall under the fae. Pixies would as well.
That's the thing. Kind of. I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt.
Go ahead.
Well, just kind of like you're talking about a different dimension. And I think that's where a lot of these things like live and thrive. That's why I think kind of like exactly like you're saying, that these things will live in rocks and things. It's something we can't fathom because we cannot fathom it.
Right.
They could live in the fifth and sixth dimension, and process all that as well.
Right.
We can only live in the 3 or 4 dimensional space,
Yeah. Yep.
Or fifth, whatever.
Well, if you consider time a dimension, but I don't think that's an accurate description of the fourth dimension. But in any case, Menehune, from Hawaii. Yep, absolutely. The Menehune is a Hawaii term for these little diminutive beings. So it's global.
Grand Desert says, Brent, Monica Rollins knows about the phase. She did a short vid on it and on her TikTok.
Actually, I'll be interviewing Monica Rollins a week from Sunday for the podcast.
Wow.
So that'll be coming up. So it's funny you should mention that. Yeah, she's a great person. Yep.
Awesome.
Yep, that'll be a good talk. She's really dug into a lot of this stuff quite a bit. So it'll be great to hear what she has to say. And to compare thoughts with her,
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I think we got time for one more story here, so let's get to that. But these are great discussions. Great discussions.
Ooh. Eugene says that Tyson's about to do his walk.
Uh-oh. What did you say? You got a leg spike. Sheldon?
Oh, I said P. Gene says that Tyson's about to do his walkout.
His walk up? Oh, okay.
Tyson is about to walk out.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. We might be able to
catch it. We might catch it. We might catch it.
Let's do one more story and we'll get to it, because they're gonna fluff this up for about another 20 minutes before they actually do anything.
Oh yeah.
I'm nervous to watch it, but I just want to watch it.
I know, so bad.
I just don't want it. I just don't want Jake to win. God, I don't want that kid to win. He hasn't earned it. He's just. All right, here we go with another story from Phantoms and Monsters. This is why I love Lon's Phantoms and Monsters. He just has such an incredible, eclectic collection of cryptid stories. Here we go. This one is Walking Tree Man Encounter in Silver Falls Springs, Oregon. All right, here we go. And there's the image that they've shared. But the legs look like a pair of articulated tree trunks with no discernible feet. It had patches of moss randomly covering its torso and legs and was about 20 feet in height. Yeah.
Whoa.
Back in the early 90s, I went with a group to Silver Falls Springs in Oregon. One night after dinner, I went for a stroll to find a clear spot so I could see the stars. Well, after about 20 minutes of sitting quietly and contemplating the sky and the stars, a breeze blew through and rustled all the trees and branches around the clearing. As the wind gently shook the trees, something caught my eye in my peripheral. I looked to my right, and there it was. For just a second or two, I saw what I could only describe as a walking tree. Back then, I was just beginning to appreciate books, so at the time, I haven't read anything aside from comic books or magazines. So now today, I can describe it as looking like an Ent from Lord of the Rings books and movies, except it had more of a round head with a definitive neck attached to its shoulders. Its limbs were long and thin, and it probably could touch the ground if it just relaxed its arms down. There didn't seem to be a distinction or separation between the torso and hip area, and the legs looked like a pair of articulated tree trunks with no discernible feet. It had patches of moss randomly covering its torso, legs, and was about 20 feet in height. And it was holding what could only be described as a long, baseball-like club in its right hand going over its shoulder. When I first turned my head to see what it had caught my eye, while the wind rushed by, I saw it take 3 long and deliberate steps in a spot where the clearing met the trees. What sent a chill down my spine and made me freeze for what seemed a moment of forever in that second was that it seemed like it turned its head and looked right at me and where I was sitting as it took its third step and re-entered the forest. I got to put a T at the end. I just sat there for another 10 minutes, feeling frozen in place, trying to go over what I just saw. Once I shook that frozen feeling, I got to my feet and went back to the cabin all of us were staying at as fast as I could. I only told one other person about this after it happened, and they just found it to be a nice and creepy story before everyone turned in for the night. And it still haunts me to this day when I think about it. That's another crazy one, huh? Wow.
I don't think I've ever heard a story about a tree.
I've heard every once in a while. Very, very, very rarely do I stumble on them. And again, I don't know that this is a true story, but it's presented as one. One thing I do like about Lon is that he does vet a lot of these. Now, I don't know if he actually talked to this witness or what, but he does say I received the following account. So I'm sure he must have communicated with the person a little bit, but perhaps further discussions didn't really glean anything to add. But very, very interesting. Wow.
Assuming it's true.
Right. 20 feet. Can you imagine seeing something 20 feet tall? Carrying a club? I mean, what's it going to do with that club?
Realistically, I can't even imagine seeing a grizzly bear in front of me.
Well, true enough. But
thinking about the terrifying ness of that.
But that's something at least we have a reference point for. It's like, oh, that's a grizzly. This is very dangerous. But this is absolutely unknown.
Unknown territory.
What is it? Why is it carrying a club? What's it going to do with that club? What does it usually do with that club? What does it eat? And I don't know. I mean, that's the concerning part, right? But it looks like a tree, so let's hope it just likes a little spring water and some good soil. But and not people meat, but I'm just saying that's a little concerning, folks. But at any rate, very wild, very cool, and very interesting. Kidding. So I think that's probably going to be our last story for tonight because we're just at the 10 minutes till I started about a couple minutes before 7. So, I think that's the journey tonight. Sheldon, did you have a good time?
Absolutely. Always. Come on. Always.
Come on. I'm always having fun. Huh?
Every time.
Every time. Well, good. I'm glad you did. And thank you all for being here and being a part of the journey. I am going to close up soon because I am dying to see Jake Paul get his head hit a bunch. No offense to Jake Paul, but I just want him to pay his dues. If he's going to be up on that tier, he should have earned it, which he hasn't yet, but maybe he'll get some mileage tonight from Tyson's gloves. Anyway.
That's right.
All right, guys. Sounds like the thing in the Epic of Gilgamesh that Enlil posted in the cedar forest to protect them from humans. Oh, interesting.
Oh.
Interesting. Yeah, man, you never know. Thank you, Brent and Sheldon. Great show. Thank you, Wizard Moon. Appreciate all of you guys. I thank you all for being here and being a part of the journey. I'll be back tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so I hope you guys join me. Again, we do these live streams every Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on YouTube, on Rumble, and on Twitch. So I hope wherever you're watching, you'll come back and watch and let some more people know so they can come with you. And Sheldon, anything in closing?
Always. So guys, don't forget paranormalportal.net, the home base of the Paranormal Portal. We can stay up to date on all the news regarding the podcast and shows itself. And don't forget, if you have an amazing experience you want to share, feel free to click that interview me button right on the website where you can schedule your very own interview. Don't be intimidated. Dad is really easy to talk to. Don't worry. I know from firsthand experience. And also Discord link right in the chat. I'm going to post, as well as it should be in the description as well, where you can stay connected to the community and all their amazing links and discussions being posted there. Feel free to join the best community on the website.
All right. It is essential. All right, guys. So that's going to wrap it up for us tonight. Remember, guys, we love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day. And remember to laugh as much as you can. I'm going to go see if Mike Tyson's going to educate Jake a little bit tonight. So
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Love you all, and I'll see you tomorrow night. Until then, you guys take care and take care of yourselves. Good night, everybody.
Good night.